How's it going, guys? My name is Brad and I'm with BestPriceNutrition.com. This is the Best Price YouTube channel. We always post videos about reviews, ingredient breakdowns, sales, everything that has to do with our site, and the supplements, new products, old products. We cover that on this channel. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over a ProHormone that we have not gone over yet, Anavar. So this is probably the most commonly misconstrued ProHormone there is. So there is an anabolic steroid called Anavar. The compound name for Anavar is oxandrolone. That's like the active ingredient in there. This is not oxandrolone. This is not an illegal steroid. So when you write us on our website and you ask how many milligrams are in each pill, I know what you're asking, and you're asking how much oxandrolone is in there. These are not illegal steroids. These are not illegal steroids. You can't go on our website and buy steroids. That's illegal. You have to have a prescription for them. This is not oxandrolone. Okay, this is a ProHormone. So why it's called Anavar is that High-Tech Pharmaceuticals bought out the trademark name Anavar. So it no longer means oxandrolone. What Anavar is now, High-Tech Pharmaceuticals Anavar, is a ProHormone. And it's a blend of other ingredients as well. It's actually very, very, very strong. So another misconception, the oxandrolone is commonly used by females because of the low androgenic properties. It's an oral, so you take it as a pill, and it doesn't really give you like the masculine quantities. It just kind of helps build muscle and kind of burn fat a little bit. So it's very popular among females because it doesn't give you the manly side effects. This is not that. This is not oxandrolone. Stop writing us in and asking if this is the illegal steroid Anavar. It's not, okay? So, this actually has the most comprehensive full label of any of High-Tech Pharmaceuticals ProHormones. I'll show you some B-roll. There's a ton of ingredients in here. And I'm going to go through all of these ingredients because some of them I've actually never even heard of before Anavar here. So I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to tell you the ingredients, what they all do, and I'm going to tell you how to take it and who it's for. So, off the get-go, you've got that S2-baronoethyl L-cysteine. And then the next ingredient is 2S-amino-6-baronohexoanic acid. What these two things are their arginase inhibitors. So, arginine is something that you guys all probably know increases nitric oxide. So, arginine is in your body increasing nitric oxide. Arginase is an enzyme that will break down arginine. If you have an arginase inhibitor, you stop that enzyme that breaks down arginine. So you're not really increasing arginine primarily, you're increasing arginine by stopping the breakdown of it. So that's what those two first ingredients do. Then you have creatine nitrate and creatine hydrochloride. Both of these are going to increase creatine in your body. Why there's creatine nitrate? Creatine nitrate is much more soluble than regular creatine. So with regular creatine, you want to take 5 grams a day. With creatine nitrate, you could take less and absorb more. So you could take less creatine nitrate to equal more of a dose of regular creatine. So you got 2 forms of creatine. And the reason it's more soluble is because of the nitrate. And then you have inosine ethyl ester. So there is actually a lot of conflicting studies on this. Some studies show there's athletic performance boosts. A lot of studies show there's not. It's supposed to be kind of like an all-around performance booster. It's not the primary ingredient in here, so I wouldn't be too concerned about it. Then you have adenosine triphosphate, which is ATP. So that kind of goes along the same line of creatine. So why you would want, I guess I could go into creatine. What creatine does when you take it is it increases the amount of creatine phosphate in your body. So creatine phosphate, you have creatine with a phosphate attached to it, basically, CP. When you use energy, you have ATP in your body, adenosine triphosphate, adenosine with 3 phosphates. And then when you need energy for something, one of those phosphates break off, and that energy that's released from the breaking of that bond is what gives you energy. So adenosine, 3 phosphates, one breaks off, you've got 2 phosphates. Now this is ADP, adenosine diphosphate. So ADP doesn't really do anything until it becomes ATP again. And how it becomes ATP is you need a phosphate to be tossed back on there to make it ATP. So how that happens, adenosine, 2 phosphates, you have creatine phosphate, it hits the ADP, takes the phosphate from the creatine, puts it onto the ADP, turns it back into ATP, you have more energy available. And this energy system is very quick. It's your first 10 or so seconds of all-out exercise. So if you're just, going light on the treadmill, creatine's not going to do much for you. If you're doing sprints, if you're maxing out your lifts, if you're doing really, really heavy exercises, creatine will help you. You will notice a difference. So you have those 2 forms of creatine, and then the ATP, I guess that's just throwing full energy into you. And then you've got the 25R Spirostan 5A Diol 6131. So this is kind of similar to Laxagen. There's limited research out there, but they think it's going to promote muscle growth non-hormonally. So it's a plant steroid in the fact that it's a 4-carbon ring. So when I was mentioning how Anavar is not a steroid earlier, I was using the common term steroid. When I'm talking about steroid as a plant steroid in chemistry is a 4-carbon ring. Cholesterol is a steroid. And actually all your hormones come from cholesterol. It breaks off into other things. So what the 25R Spirostan is it's a steroid from a plant. It's non-hormonal to humans, but they do think that it promotes muscle growth. There's not a bunch of studies out there and research on this, but the few that there are shows that in slight effects. And then you have dehydroepiandrosterone. That's DHEA. DHEA is a precursor to testosterone and estrogen. So DHEA is very, very popular. It's kind of the base of most prohormones because it is a precursor. So it will turn into these things down the road. And then you have DHEA acetate, and that DHEA is the dehydroepiandrosterone. So you've got that in acetate, cypionate, propionate, and enanthate. And all of those are esters, meaning that those are just what it's bound to be released in your body in different times. So you have DHEA that's slow, medium, fast, long, different time frames of when it's going to be released into you. And then you have 5-hydroxy Laxagen and Acetate. So Laxagen is also a plant steroid called a brazinosteroid. So what that does is it's non-hormonal and it will trigger a protein in your body that will help with muscle growth in the way that it stops muscle breakdown. So if you're not having any muscle breakdown, it's very easy to keep building on top of the muscle you have. So a lot of this stuff isn't like direct, this is going to build you muscle, but it works kind of like secondarily or work around ways of helping you grow muscle. And then, so Laxagen is going to be like the natural form. When you see 5-hydroxy Laxagen and Acetate, that is the synthetic version. So they can make it in a lab, basically. And then you've got 6-keto Deoxygenin Acetate. So that is actually going to be a precursor to Laxagen. And how that works is the same thing. It's non-hormonal. It increases the nitrogen retention in your body. And the more nitrogen retention you have, the more ability your muscles have to grow. 20-hydroxyexone Decadenate. I actually had to look this one up. I've never heard of this one. This one has only been used in rat trials, so there's really been no human studies, but it does increase the muscle fiber size in rats. So it might work in humans, it might not. Again, these aren't the main primary ingredients of this, but they are there, as a little added benefit. If it helps, cool. If not, I don't think it's going to hurt you. I don't know, but I don't think it would be in here if it did. Okay, and then you've got 1-andro, 4-andro, epiandro. So those we've gone over in other videos. 1-andro turns into 1-testosterone. 4-andro turns into testosterone. Epiandro turns into DHT. So DHT I don't think is one that we talked about too much. We'll link to the other 1-andro, 4-andro videos. But epiandro turning into DHT. DHT is dihydrotestosterone. It is 5 times more androgenic than testosterone. You also can get some side effects from it, like If you have male pattern baldness in your family, like myself with this wicked receding hairline, if you've got that, it can exacerbate it. It can make it worse. It's not a for sure thing, but if you're worried about hair loss, DHT is something you don't want to mess with, really. If you aren't concerned about hair loss, DHT can be very good for muscle growth. It's very, very strong. And androgenic versus anabolic. Anabolic is mainly muscle growth. Androgenic is more of the male sex characteristic hormone. So you might grow more facial hair. It could kind of change a little things here and there, but that's more so along the things that it does. It's kind of like the male sex hormone, basically. Okay, and then another one that I had to look up was Neringen, and this is a flavonoid. And so another one I had to look up was Neringen, and what I found is that it's a flavonoid antioxidant, and the downside is that it can reduce absorption of some things, but the very next ingredient, the 6,7-dihydroxybergamotin, is actually like grapefruit extract. And what that does is it increases the absorption of everything, and it inhibits Neringen's anti-absorption properties. So they kind of like work against each other, but you're going to get the antioxidant properties and the absorption properties. So pretty cool. And then the final thing on here, Quebracho Blanco. It's the, I had to look this one up as well. It is the main ingredient of yohimbine, and what that does is it can help with erectile dysfunction, and it can also help you lose a little bit of fat. It kind of targets your fat very, very well. It's one of the few ingredients that actually works like that. So all that being said, all these ingredients, it's obviously probably the strongest prohormone due to it being a 1-andro, 4-andro, epiandro, all the DHEA in there. It has everything in there. So again, this is not the illegal anabolic steroid. I don't know why many people think you could just go onto a normal website like ours and buy steroids, but you can't. And if you don't know that the steroid Anavar is illegal, I'm letting you know right now, you can't just buy that on a website. If you do, the FBI is going to come to your house, knock on your door with the DEA behind them, and you're going to be arrested. So stop asking those questions. It's not... I'm not going to get into it. It makes me so mad, though. Anavar by High Tech Pharmaceuticals, very strong prohormone. I don't suggest it for your first cycle. Who it's for, it's definitely going to be a bulking compound just because it's so strong. You don't want to do it for your first cycle. You don't want to do it for if you're just trying to cut down. There's a lot of stuff in there. You do want an estrogen blocker with it because there is 4-andro in there, and there's no other aromatase inhibitor properties really in here. Except for the epiandro, which has slight aromatase inhibiting properties. But if you want to be safe, get something like arimistane. That's going to be an estrogen blocker. That's going to help. Wow, this has gone on very long. Use it for bulking. Get an aromatase inhibitor with it. Get a PCT with it. I would say do 1 to 2 months. 2 months, it's a lot, but 2 months should be okay. Definitely use a PCT, cycle off for a couple months before doing something else. So, if you guys have any questions, if I missed anything, please leave a comment below and I will get to it as soon as I can. I think that's about it. I don't think I missed any ingredients. If I did, let me know and I'll go over it. I did have to look some of these up just because these are very rare new ingredients. So I apologize for that, but I don't know everything and I'll admit that. So, again, leave a comment below if you have any questions, and I will get to you as soon as I can. All right. Thanks, guys.